working with zoom lenses or with prime lenses? I'm talking to Stosh from FUJINON about this exact subject. It's a very interesting conversation. I really like it. I hope you will join me or us to hear all about it.
You're watching CineD, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi guys, I'm Johnnie from CineD and I'm here with Stosh from FUJIFILM or FUJINON.
Well, Fujifilm, of course, is the company now. Fujinon, of course, is the brand of lens. So we like to think of ourselves as the Fujinon ambassadors to the world in terms of lens options.
Great. So guys, this is IBC and all around here we have a lot of products. Some are new, some are not so new. But I want to talk about something which is not by definition a product. This is more of a usability conversation. And it's all about zoom lenses. It can be, of course, Fujinon zoom lenses versus prime lenses. Because many of us still believe that prime lenses are superior to zoom lenses. And that's why I want to talk to Stosh. He's a professional, he is an expert, and I'll ask the question and hopefully Stosh will come with the right answers. So, where should I start? Let's start with the way it is in the market right now. We have primes, different price categories, different sizes, everything is from here all the way there. Fujinon is producing zoom lenses. You don't really have, besides the photo department, you don't really have any primes right now. So before we even dive into this conversation of primes versus zoom lenses, tell me a little bit about the zoom lenses or the family or the type of zoom lenses that you produce.
Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, so we, like you say, we produce various families of zoom lens. And one of the things that we take quite great pride in is the quality and consistency of the optical performance across all those different sets of zooms. It's important to Fuji that those lenses they all have different price points and different optical characteristics to maximize their usability in certain applications, be it live applications, traditional scripted cinema applications, mirrorless camera, small, lightweight, affordable applications. But the key is we want to have consistency of color, consistency of optical performance, and consistency of that not only between serial numbers and focal lengths, but between models and between families. Like you say, when we think about the prime market, there are a lot of options, and there's more and more options coming to the market every day. There is a growing number of zooms out there, but certainly when we talk about the high quality zooms, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, is where those high quality zooms can fit in production.
So, another question before we dive into the subject. Why Fujinon is not making any prime lenses?
I think that comes right down to it. When we think about our R&D budgets and what we can produce, how can we differentiate ourselves in the prime market? Where is there something missing that's not there? When we look at the zoom market, we can more easily find areas where we can innovate, like Duvo lens that we came out with last year, right? We can do something that not every vendor, every lens manufacturer is capable of manufacturing at scale with the consistency and quality that we can. So we want to make sure that we're able to create a tool set for production that's unique and innovative. And in the prime market, it's very difficult to find that unique place.
So now the perception is, if you have a fixed focal length lens, for that given focal length, the lens will perform the best in terms of chromatic aberration, flares, vignetting and everything. Now, when we talk about zoom lenses, it means that theoretically, any company, and of course you guys, have to check on every, let's say, give me whatever focal length.
We think of a 19-90 Cabrio.
For example. So you have to check every step to make sure or ensure that the quality is not only sufficient, it's your brand name. It has to be excellent. How do you do this?
Absolutely, and that's part of the challenge for the engineers in Japan, is to be able to design a lens not only that can perform at every focal length, like you say there, be consistent at every focal length, but also be robust and be able to perform at those focal lengths for a long period of time out in the production market. So that's another piece too. So yeah, that's definitely the challenge that we put forth to the engineers. They don't always tell us exactly how they do it, but that's part of the value of the quality zoom lens.
So I'm a documentary filmmaker. And for the type of job that I do, and again, I have to confess, usually it's a one-man band, other times it's a small team. I have to be fast, I have to be reliable, I have to be liable, and I have to perform. Fixed focal lenses are okay, but I always preferred zoom lenses. The main obstacle was the size and the weight, usually. This is also changing. So for me, no question, zoom lenses, if they are fast, it's even better, all the way. What about you?
Well, I think first off, what I will say is that prime lenses are going to give you the fastest possible t-stop at any given focal length. They will likely give you the smallest overall package. So if you need to work in an environment where you want those fastest t-stops and the smallest focal length, smallest physical size packages, the primes are great options. And again, when we talk about primes and we talk about the very best primes available on the market, you can get some unbelievable quality out of those primes. What we bring to the table, what FUJINON Cine Zooms bring, is the ability to work in those environments a little bit faster. We don't have to change lenses as often. We have a little more flexibility. You know, if a director wants to just punch in a little bit tighter as an actor is being emotional, they can just quickly roll that in a little bit tighter. You don't have to stop to change a lens. You don't have to stop a performance. And the quality out of those high-end zoom lenses intercuts with the highest end primes seamlessly. Now, we tend not to be quite as fast in T-stop, and we tend to be bigger, physically a little bit bigger.
This is something to just to explain that it's physics. You can't beat the system here. Meaning, if you're going for a faster zoom lens and a larger image circle, eventually the lens will be bigger. So the blanket is defined. That's one of the issues.
Yes, the rules of physics cannot be overcome yet. We still can only move light the way we can. So exactly, if we wanted to have a T15 zoom lens flat, sure, physically we could, but the front element would be huge. You know, when we look at the Duvo box lens, we have a 25 to 1000 mil. At 1000 mil, that's f5. But the front element is 220 millimeters. The lens weighs 65 pounds. So for yourself shooting documentary, not possible to move around with that, right? So again, it's all trade-offs in zoom lens design. We have focal range, we have size and weight, and we have T-stop. So it's a give and take. As we want more faster T-stop, size and weight gets bigger, right?
So what is the best way to convince traditional filmmakers, DOPs, even really high-end DOPs, to work more with zoom lenses and not use the fixed focal length lenses?
I truly believe that it's a function of testing. You know, we work very closely with our rental house partners that own the FUJINON lenses. They work very closely with the directors of photography, the DPs out there, testing and understanding that it's not an optical compromise to make use of these quality zooms in collaboration with the primes. They're going to want to use the tool set they want to use relative to the primes in the dramatic moments. What we would like for them to experience is the value of intercutting with a Premista or a Cabrio in those environments where that will enable some significant efficiencies. Perhaps they're shooting outdoors and there's going to be some variability of environment where having that flexibility and not being able to stop as often is important. Perhaps they're on a day where they have to get through more pages of the script and they need to move faster, and stopping to change lenses is going to slow down production in a way that they would like to avoid. Then they can do that on those days. And from the feedback we've received from the highest end professionals, they can't tell the difference between the two outside of T-stop.
Interesting. Now, Well, lately we tested and reviewed the Duvo, some of the Duvo lenses. The impression that I got, and again, in all honesty, but those are really great, but more for news, reality, kind of the look that we got from those lenses was for news. So if I want more cinema, first of all, am I right here?
I would. So what I would say is the Duvo lenses, not news per se, but they were definitely developed to work in live environments. So when we talk about the 24 to 300 and the new 14 to 100, for those they were designed to work in live environments, so small and lightweight. Small, but the new 14 to 100 is 5.5 pounds if we speak in American talk. So it's nice, lightweight. You can carry it on your shoulder all day. What is the trade-off? At a 114 millimeter front barrel, it ramps. So it starts at T29 to the mid 70s, and then it'll roll off to 39. When we talk about the 24 to 300, it's a little bit heavier. It again ramps from 2.9 to 4.2, and it tends to breathe a little bit more. So if you're familiar with focus pumping or breathing when we rack focus, its characteristics are very much the same as the Cabrio 85 to 300. But your 24 to 300 and a small lightweight package that you can put on your shoulder. What we did with the Duvos that is beautiful is it has very, very similar focus roll off to the Cabrio. So when we talk about bringing a cinematic image to live, we didn't compromise on the bokeh and the focus roll off and the color. It's almost on the CCI chart, it's almost right over top of a Cabrio. So all of that matches up beautifully. Where we did pull on the strings a little bit was enable them to ramp a little. The 24 to 300 has a little more breathing. 14 to 100 hardly breathes at all. Beautiful that way. But these are the places where we will compromise to enable more focal range for use in live environments or documentary environments or wildlife environments.
Just in two sentences about the Cabrio family of lenses, because maybe some of the audience are not really familiar with those. And of course, also here, if we talked about fixed focal length lenses, many DOPs will use those for kind of cinematic look. So, and the Cabrio, if you can just elaborate a little bit about this line of lenses.
Yeah, so the Cabrio was the Cabrio's been around for almost 12 years now, I believe, the initial Cabrio 1990. And it was, Cabrio was like a convertible, a cabriolet. So we put that drive unit on it, and that was the first cinema lens that had a drive unit on it. But with the Cabrio, we wanted to keep it more to appeal to the cinematographer. A 1990 is flat at T29. So once you set your lighting, your exposure won't change as you choose focal lengths between 19 and 90. So with the Cabrio line and the 5 lenses in there, our mindset was more towards cinematic scripted as opposed to Duvo now, where we're leaning more towards live, where having the additional range is of value and we can compromise a little bit on the other things. Cabrios don't die. They are active models. We still sell them today. So if you need a cinematic tool more so than a live event tool, those two options are still there and available.
So what happened to the MK line of lenses? I remember a few years ago, those were made for E-mount and for X-mount. I still remember some members of the FUJINON team stepping into our office and really in such a very proud to present those lenses. And we were like, wow, it was one of the first zoom lenses for Super 35 cameras out there. And the price performance was really great. But somehow those lenses kind of faded out. I mean, you don't hear, maybe you're still manufacturing them, I don't know, but they're kind of gone. What happened to this line of lenses?
So we still do manufacture them. The challenge with the MK lenses is they were produced with short flange lens mounts, camera mounts in mind. Mirrorless, short flange. So like you said, E-mount, micro four thirds. We have it for X-mount, and actually our partner Duclos Lens in California has made it for RF mount. They modified it for RF mount. So that lens was enabled to be so small and so lightweight as a result of that short flange design. So it's at 19 mil or somewhere around there where that light comes to focus. What you can't now do is use that in a PL mount environment at 52 millimeter because your light path just doesn't enable that. So being a Super 35 lens, a 28.5 mil image circle, and a short flange, as the camera market has evolved into large format, and then the mounting options continue to evolve as well, they are less popular. Certainly they have become a little bit less popular. They still get used on some of the highest level productions out there when they're using Super 35 mil image circle and need that kind of quality and that kind of affordability. They're still the best option. When we think about bringing that level product into large format and trying to maintain a T2.9, the challenge with that is the physics again. So we start to get bigger and heavier and more expensive. And it doesn't take long until we get into the range of Premista, and we already have those lenses. So one of our challenges from a engineering, design, and market penetration need scenario is how easily can we achieve the desired specs to the marketplace within the realities of physics?
For me personally, it's very interesting. So, next question. You know your craft in and out. You're very professional. You know exactly what you're talking about. Very fluent. The thing is, if Fujifilm, and please don't consider me rude here, if Fujifilm would have produced prime lenses tomorrow, would I hear you trying to convince me and the audience that actually prime lenses or to work with prime lenses is even better than zooms? Or you really personally believe that zoom lenses are the future in some scenarios?
I think I would continue to present lens options the way I have throughout this whole conversation, in that there's a place for the primes. If someday we were to make primes, I'm sure they would be optically beautiful, they would be fast, they would be small and lightweight. So there would be a place in production for both tools. A lens is really almost the paintbrush for the DP, for the artist now. So there are going to be instances where either or is going to be the optimal tool for the job. And I would love to have a set of primes that we could help to market and provide to production all over the world. But at this time, the reality within our ecosystem is we're really good at making zooms. So at this time, we're going to continue making great zooms, and we're going to continue providing those tool sets to production. But having quality lenses, be it a prime or a zoom, quality manufactured lenses, quality robust lenses, serviceable lenses is important. And I think as long as we continue to do that and continue to support productions all around the world, I think we're going to be in a good place.
Great. Guys, zoom lenses or prime lenses? We would love to hear your opinion. I hope you will watch the comments in YouTube. So just it's interesting. I always really very interested to know what the guys out there are thinking. Stosh, thank you very much for the friendly conversation. But before I say goodbye, anything else that you would like to add about prime lenses versus zoom lenses? Or we kind of covered a lot?
I think we covered most everything. I think I would encourage everyone out there to test them. If you have an opportunity, call your local rental house, wherever you are in the world. Ask if you can test a high-end zoom lens and feel comfortable. Feel comfortable knowing that these quality tools will help you in production. Don't discount them just because you heard a friend say on Twitter somewhere that zooms are terrible and you must work with primes. Open your mind to not only the quality you can get, but the efficiencies you can potentially achieve in your production.
Stosh, thank you very much. A pleasure talking to you. Thank you. Guys, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this friendly conversation, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.